began, back at the very beginning of my story, I began playing with toilet paper rolls and making things out of them as a child. I discovered as a pretty young kid I was innovative. I liked to make things. In fact, I like to make things more complicated, actually. I discovered as a nascent inventor, I wanted to take a paper towel tube and shove knives in it and create the ultimate super weapon. And to me, this would have been the quintessential invention. Like, more parts is always better. So I kind of grew up always wanting to innovate, always wanting to create new things. And I did that at the heart of innovation, as the world knows, is Sholo, Arizona, right? Anybody ever been to Sholo? Raise your hand if you've ever been to Sholo. Yeah, probably not the hub of innovation, right? Anybody from Sholo? No, I didn't think so. Very small town, for those of you that don't know. Point I'm going to make here is, hey, it doesn't matter where you start. It matters what's in your heart. And for me, I was in a small town, wasn't a lot going on. So what did I do? I got out of Dodge. I went to this place. Anybody know where Finland is? We're going to have a test. Okay. Stand up with me. Help me out. Okay. This would be a reasonable facsimile to the place we all live on, called Earth. Please point out to our audience where Finland is. Okay. Please note how very high this is on the aforementioned globe. What does that imply? Cold. Bad for a guy who doesn't wear pants, right? So I end up in Finland, and I decide, gee, I got a great education, they're having a good time, but I got to do something different. I got to go back to Arizona, I got to get toasty again. So after studying in Finland, I go back and say, well, what is my career? I'm young, I don't know what to do. So I decide, well, first I'm going to try Finland without pants. That didn't work out so good. So I go back and I say, hey, I'm really fascinated by science, and I was totally into astronomy. So I go, that's it. I'm going to go study astronomy, and one of the top schools in the world in astronomy is in Arizona. So I go, perfect, it's toasty. I won't have to wear pants. So I go back to Tucson, start studying astronomy. And now I'm going to transition to career lesson number 2. This comes directly from the man you've probably all seen, the very infamous Dos Equis man. In his words, he says, some people know more than you. Listen to those people. Now, what do I mean by that? I was very fortunate when I went to U of A to have a great mentor. I was introduced to a guy called Raymond White, professor emeritus of astronomy, and super cool guy. And fortunately, I sat around with him talking about astronomy a lot, and I said, hey, tell me about the real work that you do. What's a day like? What do you do? And the more he and I talked, the more I started to go, God, I really love astronomy, but the last thing in the world I want to do is be sitting in a dark room, staring at a computer screen with these guys. And I said, gee, that's just not a fit for me. I got to find another path. So I went back and I said, well, I'm going to try an experiment. I'm in college, I'm undergrad, I could try different things. So I tried this first. Anyone want to guess? What was this discipline? Yes? Philosophy, very good. This is Socrates. So I tried philosophy for a while. Thought that was awesome. And it was. I loved it. But guess how much money most philosophers make? Nothing. And I said, you know what? I kind of do like being, financially sound. I'm going to try something else. So I moved to, anyone? Economics. Finance? Economics? Answer is economics, yes. So I said, I'm going to be geeky now. Take the math I learned for physics and go study economics. And then I said, you know what, I don't think that's it either. So I said, well, maybe it's theater. So I go start studying drama for a while, which perhaps shows a bit. But I decided, again, this isn't it. So I go, what am I going to do? So what did I do? I said, I'm going to go somewhere again. So I went and studied in Sweden. Where's Sweden? Just so we know. Next to it. So let's see, I was here and it was too cold, so I went way down here, which is basically absolutely no difference. So wonderful career there in school, studied some stuff, but said, you know what, this requires pants, gonna have to find another option. So I started doing the math of what I'd learned at this point. I'm now an undergrad, I go, okay, here's my math. Physics plus philosophy plus economics plus Swedish equals entrepreneur, that's got to be what I'm supposed to do. So I said, okay, I'm going to go do that. So I went back to Toasty Town, and I did go back to college. It wasn't for the girls, I swear. It was for the education. So I went back to U of A to get my education in entrepreneurship. Studied entrepreneurship, which, anybody know what that basic program's about? What do you learn in entrepreneurship school? Anyone? Anyone? Come on, talk to me, people. What? Running a business. Running a business, yes, running a business. Okay, so what did I do? Did I run a business? Of course not. That would make way too much sense. I leave there, I get my degree in a bit of everything, and I go to corporate America. So I actually got recruited to P&G and went there and said, you know what? These guys were in all my textbooks on marketing. I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing.